Hello and welcome back to another match reaction. Welcome back to another live, people. Make sure to smash a like and subscribe if you are new. We are on the road to 1K, people, as well. And yeah, listen, another loss, another disaster class. Uh, just the same day as usual, really. It's just business as usual, as we say around here. It's business as usual. Business as fucking usual. But make sure to leave a like on the video. Make sure to subscribe if you are new as well. At GVO Mikes on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok if you want to follow me. 4-1 to Man City. Who would have thought we would lose? Am I right, guys? Oh, God. Thought we'd win this game. Oh, I predicted a West Ham win, you know? Saw some positives from Liverpool 5-0. At Brighton and Bournemouth 1-1 draws. I saw some positives and I thought we were going to win today. If you don't know, I'm being sarcastic and I'm not a fucking spastic. That didn't mean to rhyme, but it's just a coincidence. Shout out to Melon Seed. So Hammer's fans happy because you scored absolute cuckery indeed, my friend. That's a Melon focus. We are rubbish. Shout out to Musty. Big up, Mikes. Everyone like, up, and sub. Shout out to everyone inside. Sack him, but they won't because they're stupid idiots. Yeah, of course, we know this. Hello, people. Shout out to Abs as well. If West Ham had won, I would think all the players are actually aliens imposters. Facts, bruv. I would have thought, like, it's long, bruv. I'm not gonna lie, losing to City nowadays is a bad look. We lose every week. It doesn't matter. we're still West Ham, bro. Shout out to NA though, as always. But yeah, man, we're live back to back. Of course, we're live at 11 as well with what's it? Live with Melon and Alfie as well. So we're gonna talk about Chelsea and Arsenal and obviously West Ham again after that. Shout out to NJ as well. Big up, Mike. Everyone smashing likes. Lopetegui has to go. Bowen was a big miss. He was a big miss. I don't think it would have made a difference today. But listen, you guys won fair and square, really. Like, we had a good first half. Don't get me wrong. Had some positives for once. But even when we have positives, none of it, we don't really carry it on. So, like, even take the positives at West Ham United with a pinch of salt. And said, I said, Bunda, Chelsea, not, yeah. But here's what it is. Here's what it is. This is the thing with West Ham as well. Like, here's my thing. Here's my thing with West Ham. We had some positives in the first half. We played some good football. We played in spaces at times. But the problem with that is the fact that we was never going to carry it on throughout 90 minutes. We're never going to carry it on week in, week out either. Because we've seen before, in fact, against Man City at home, against Manchester United in the second half, against Ipswich for 80 minutes, against Newcastle for most of the game, apart from the times where they were running in behind a lot, for about 10 minutes against Arsenal when we were already 4-0 down. The problem with all of this is we've seen some moments. We see some moments at West Ham, but we don't really see it consecutively. I think everyone expected to lose. I think some deluded people obviously probably thought that we'd get a draw, even though we literally lost 5-0 to Liverpool last week. They're still going to keep him. I'm pretty much at this point where, like, the manager's going to stay regardless. I'm not expecting this manager to go. And even if he gets the Villa game, we lose to Villa, we'll probably still keep him. There's no point keeping the manager, but there's also no point on us wishing for the manager to go because the manager's not going to go. I would take Sarri if he's available. Yeah, I'd take Sarri as well. On the bright side, Fulkirk goal for my FPL. Yeah, Fulkirk scored today at least. We were shit. How did we beat you 4-1? Because we're worse. You should have been 2-0 up in 5 minutes. Exactly. And listen, to criticize players as well. Yes, I can criticize players, but that's kind of not the biggest issue at the moment. The biggest issue is the manager. Listen, Sufa was terrible. Kudus was terrible. Like, he got worse and worse in the second half. Everyone was actually all right in the first half, apart from Sufa, and then everyone was shit in the second half. Everyone was shit. Everyone was shit in the second half, apart from Souček and Fulkirk. Really, that was it. Nobody's going to finish their chances, are they? And Tadibo injury makes it even worse. Also, LFC Prem winners in January. I pray for days like this. Congratulations, bruv. Congratulations. I would take Sarri if you, but yeah. I could cry. He's going to put us out the cup. Oh, yeah, for sure. Villa Park, scary hours. I'm doing a watch along for that. There was no watch along today because the game wasn't live. I'm not going to pour the effort into trying to find a link to watch West Ham lose to Manchester City. And I was going to always stream twice today, so there was kind of no point doing Watch along. Listen, it's better off me doing this because I tried to get a match preview yesterday, but the guest uh, didn't respond after agreeing to come onto the channel, which is always fun. Is always fun. Um, there you go. There you go. Like this is the problems with this is kind of one of the negatives with doing YouTube is that even when people agree to go on your channel, you don't get a response from that person. So you're kind of just waiting and waiting and waiting. No stream, no stream. So that made it even worse yesterday. But is what it is, I guess. I guess I'm not asking a Man City fan to appear on the channel anytime soon. Kudus is horrendous. Get him gone. He showed why he can never challenge Bone for his position. I don't know about get him gone, but he's gonna go anyway. But he was horrendous today. Definitely horrendous today. Like it was the lack of making the right decision. Um, too many touches on the ball when cutting in. Like it was, he was terrible today. My biggest criticism. I know people are gonna say I'm harsh and all that, but you know that one we should have shot near post. Well, the one where he did shoot near post, but he should have scored. Regardless of whether it's near post or not, you should score from there. I think people need to be more harsh on people missing chances and missing sitters, whether you're right in the middle of the goal or 5 yards off when you're right on the edge of the box. When you're right on the edge of the box, you should still finish that. You should still finish that. I don't even do the whole GA argument because I put that on the whole system and the manager thing. Today, I'm not blaming the manager on Mohamed Kudus' performance. He played on the right. He played on the right. We actually set up properly in terms of on the ball. So all of that is on him. All of that is on him. Have you seen an X update? I haven't seen it. I'm not on his Patreon. On his Patreon. So let me know. What did he say? Flipping Gollum lookalike Moyes was apparently in the crowd. Yeah, but we're not going to get him back. First of all, he wouldn't want to come back. Pause. And second of all, Sullivan's not going to ask for him back. Because he didn't want to come back anyway, because he literally said Sullivan offered him a year contract. Or no, he offered him a contract this time last year and then took it back after a couple of games, which kind of sums up David Sullivan. Shout out to Wasim as well. Big up Mike's and all in the chat. Hit the likes. Hit the likes, people, if you haven't already. And this is the thing. Listen, people played well in the first half. I thought so. Like my criticisms of Somerville and my praise of Somerville kind of came into play today. My praise of Somerville was like one of the fastest, but actually dribbling with the ball, using his pace properly, great on the counter, great in possession. Obviously, the Wan-Bissaka and Somerville on the left-hand side kind of doesn't help because they're both right-footed. So we don't really have any balance on that left-hand side. However, he should be able to. He should finish better than than how he did and how he has been. And that's one thing I will always criticize him for is finishing. He needs to finish much better. The whole team needs to finish much better. Don't get me wrong, but I like Somerville, so I'm going to be a bit more critical on you because I expect more from you. I'm going to expect more from you the longer you stay at this club. Manta Kudus is a Ten Hag merchant. We should get Sarri in the summer. We should get Sarri now. Thoughts of Brentford versus City? I don't know. I don't know. We'll come to it when we'll come to it, bro. You're big up 20 away from 700. I'm like, please, guys, 20 away from. I didn't even know we were 20 away from 700. So shout out to Ahmed, bro. We can get to 700 maybe the end of this month, hopefully. But if not, then February. That'll be nice, people. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. It's basically same old, same old. Okay. Under huge pressure, but we'll get the Villa game. The club understands that the amount of goals conceded isn't good enough, but are lenient as as predicted. As predicted. If that's the X update, it was as predicted. Like I always knew he was going to stay after this game. I don't know why it was briefed that it was City and Villa that were the last two games. If that was the case, then yeah, you got to understand we call him Dithering Dave for a reason. Like there's a reason why we all call him Dithering Dave anyway, because Takeaway says with a pinch of salt, he'll change his mind pretty much the next week or the next day or the next hour once he stops, shagging trannies and he doesn't get blue balled. He thinks something different. But unfortunately, this tranny shagger of an owner, yeah. I'm happy with the result today, though, but could have showed he's a short head. I disagree with that. I disagree with short head Doku, but he was terrible today. Love Suchek, Sufal, and Somerville clapping the fans up full time. They actually get it. Yeah, I'll be real. Yeah, I hear all of that. And well done to Somerville and Suchek for doing that. But Sufal kind of had to do that because that was his highlight of the whole of his season, clapping the fans. Because someone needs to clap his fucking head in. Same with Kudus today. Same with Alvarez today. People need to start clapping their heads in. I blame Kudus for the goal that was actually uh, where Alvarez was stretching for it, because that was a bad pass from Kudus. But the whole thing of like doing all the clapping the fan stuff, that's minimum thing. Like I don't really care that much. Don't really care that much. But shout out to them for doing that, because none of the rest of them do. What can Kudus do that Doku can't? He can drive through the ball with the middle. He can take people on 1v1, in my opinion, on the right. I still think he's a better finisher than Doku. I still think he's got more ball retention than Doku. Like, I wouldn't go that far, Charlie, but it is what it is. Feel like you can't use his vision out wide as a clear pass, but can't pass with his right. I think on like him today, like he was terrible. Like, there was no excuses for him today. He was playing in his right position. Him that playing on the right or in the middle is what it's what we've been saying for both positions. But the problem is, once you get your chance to play in your right position, you got to take it. You got to take it. I still think we're a victim of these players will do better at a different club. These players will do better at a different club. And listen, I'll take the money for him, of course I will. But I'm kind of defeated, to be honest. Happy with the result. What the actual fuck? Oh god, I don't know, man. I don't know. There's people that were happy with a draw to Bournemouth and Brighton. Can I just say, all the people that were atting me on Twitter about happy with the draw to Bournemouth and Brighton, you are fucking washed as a fan. You are fucking washed. You are genuinely, something's wrong with you in the head, because we just got battered back to back by Liverpool and Man City, but you're happy with 2 points in 2 games. Make it make sense, because we scraped a win against Southampton, which means we are still with Man United and Tottenham and them, man. If you're not going to beat the Man Cities and Liverpools and pull off shocks, and pull off a shock in a 90-minute game, you have to beat the Bournemouths and Brightons. You have to. I demand wins for every game anyway. Every game I demand, what's it called? Every game I demand a win, even when we're not expected to win. So if you think I'm going to accept a draw, no. Bournemouth and Brighton, fuck me. Yeah, Seafire was crap. Kudus is 1 foot to the car, make a 5-yard pass. Seafire is horrendous. Fair. Sorry, one X about Seafire. He's watched in 2021. Yeah, I've been complaining about it because basically Seafire got an injury in the 21-22 season against Manchester United, where I think it was his groin or some shit. I think he got a groin injury, and he was then rushed back, and he would never look the same. Seafire in his first season looked really good 1v1. Wasn't necessarily the fastest, but good reading of the game and a good crosser. He hasn't looked the same since that Manchester United Carabao Cup game where we beat Man United. I've been saying it since then. I remember that Leicester game where he was rushed back and played with an injury, and then Ryan Fredericks got subbed on. Lopetegui going straight down the tunnel was disgusting, in my opinion. He should at least show appreciation for the fans that travelled. Yeah, I don't know why people don't just throw things at him. I think people should start throwing things at him in the next home game, not going to lie. Both good at dribbling with no end products. Worried if Kudus leaves for 80+ mil. Don't trust anyone in the club with that kind of money. I think recruitment-wise, I don't mind. But then again, if Sullivan's stepping in for transfers again, this is what people wanted, complaining about Steiden. This is what people wanted, using these same people's logic. These are all the Moyes innards and all that. And the numbers show you can't finish better than Doku, but I don't just look at numbers, to be honest. But if Kudus had some of the chances Doku had, I still think he finishes it. Although I think Kudus should do better in front of goal. I just crave more losses. I hear you, but he's not going to go anywhere. So I'm kind of like, if you're going to beat us properly, kind of thing. Pause. Kudus goes for 85 million and Somerville goes for 45 million. Who brings to replace about half the team? Don't think Somerville leaves. I don't know who the fuck we replace. I trust Steiden with the money though. I don't trust Sullivan with the money. If we go back to having Sullivan with the money, then we're kind of fucked. We're back to 2016 West Ham. We're kind of back there anyway. But none of that matters. Like, no spending and replacing people doesn't matter until an actual coach is here. I haven't thought about a single transfer target since the summer ended because Lopetegui is still the manager. unfortunately. The Newcastle win is the only credible result this season. Every other result went against a shit opponent or we got lucky with VAR, etc. Yeah, yeah, exactly. We had 17 shots today too. Yeah, our finishing is genuinely horrendous. Like, do you know what's funny, Charlie? This game and the game against Man City at home are the only two games I've really been like, okay, we had shots on goal. I don't really blame the manager for those single games, but we should finish our chances. It was pretty much like the carbon copy of the reverse fixture. We actually didn't play that badly against Man City, but we gave away the ball multiple times and we lost. It's pretty much the exact same. And the two goals we scored were only because what's it? No, only because they were shit. That's the only reason why we scored. The only reason why we scored, was because Kyle Walker was on the pitch, and the only reason why we scored against them at home was because what's it called? It was an own goal, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure the goal we scored at home against them was an own goal. Yeah, I don't think Somerville leaves either. Only just joined, but this guy's good enough to demand he playing in a better team, in my opinion. I actually don't think. I think this is his level. I'll be real. I think West Ham's his level at this current moment in time. He hasn't shown the finishing to go to up to a different level, in my opinion. But then again, if he wanted to leave to go to a Newcastle, Aston Villa, I'd completely understand. We would have let both Kudus and Somerville leave. We would be too short in attack. What's your OG story of supporting the Hammers? My parents both support West Ham, so I kind of didn't have a choice. Um, yeah, both my parents support West Ham. My mum supports West Ham because she grew up in Bethnal Green, and my dad supports West Ham because his dad supports West Ham. So that's kind of the short story of it. What do you base it off? Do you think he can finish better based on what all he's shown since he's got? Is he incredibly hit and miss? I think my problem with Kudus' finishing is he doesn't know how to cut in. You know the shot. I can't remember what attack it was, but when he cut in with no. Of course, Charlie, it's never that, never that, bro. Don't worry about it. Because I know you especially. Like we I've never always agreed with viewers on the channel. We've always just debated it. So don't worry about that, bro. What do you base on? You think you can finish based on? Yeah. So the attack where Kudus was cutting in, I think it was on the edge of the box. He took too many touches and lost the ball. Regardless, from those areas, I don't think he's good in those areas when it comes to shooting. I also don't think he's good at shooting when it comes to cutting into the near post as he did earlier today and hitting the side netting. However, I do think he's good when he's on his I don't know what I say, on his zone when it comes to dribbling, cutting in and then shooting, like, similar to how Arsenal against Arsenal in the Carabao Cup, where he takes just that touch and shoots, where he's not really thinking about it too much. He's taking a couple of touches and proper finishing like that. That's something I think he has ahead of the other wingers in the league or the other attackers in the league, the other media attackers in the league, in my opinion. When he's just dribbling and then he's shooting, or he's taking a couple of touches then shooting. But when we're in possession, for example, it's a different ball game because he's thinking about way too much. My problem is, it's the same with Paquetá in possession. My problem with Paquetá in possession, when he's thinking about it too much, he gives the ball away on the own edge of the box. When he's in the final third, little dink for Wan-Bissaka is when he's not thinking about it too much. For me, my problem with Kudus, you're never going to develop him, even though you should be developed anyway. You're like 25. But also, when he's thinking about it too much, like when he's cutting in during the part of the edge of the box, he gets tackled way too easily. And even if they do let him shoot, it looks kind of like when Raheem Sterling, like I'll compare it to almost Raheem Sterling-ish, where Raheem Sterling would cut in, take too many touches, cut in again, take too many touches again, and then blaze it over the bar. Is when they're thinking about it too much. I don't think he's a finisher like that. I think he's a great dribbler in the right team anyway. And I think on a route down the middle, I'd still play him there. But he had a horrendous game today. But I still think 85 million, the mini release course, would be a great sale. A great sale. I would take that 85 million any day of the week. We had 8 shots only. How the fuck did we win? Because you're still better than us. You got to understand your attackers are still better, so you don't really need much. Yeah, obviously all respect as well. Happens so often though. Aspilicueta wanted to leave and give it an extra year because Tuchel convinced the team was sacked 5 years later, but never the same left the following year. Managers are important. Facts. He's like Walcott. If he doesn't have to think, he'll do well. I agree. I still think in the right team under the right coach he does well, but regardless of whether it's the right coach or not, and I've made sure to not go in on players when we are in a bad setup. we actually set up all right today. Like I'll complain about the manager needs to go regardless, and they're never going to sack him. They're never going to sack him anyway. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, no one had any excuses today because the type of football we were playing today is the type of football we should have been playing like every week. But we only play it when we're in space, a bit like the Newcastle game. The difference between this game and the Newcastle game, we actually set up and played the exact same way. It's just the difference with coming up against two different single opponents where Newcastle aren't as good as Manchester City. When Newcastle put the ball behind our defence, what happened? They fucked it. They didn't even have many shots to even test Fabianski, I think it was, in goal at the time. The difference is with Manchester City, their whole game plan was to get the ball to Savio, 1v1 Soufal, back post Haaland. That was the game plan. In fact, before the Soufal own goal, they put in that kind of cross that they scored for the second goal. They basically replicated their own cross. They're recreating their own chances. And it's not the vintage Man City. Man City are still going to be got at unless they sign players this January. But this is West Ham United. I still think with Man City off form, they still would have beaten us regardless. It just would have been like a 2-0. If he passed more, I think he'd do a lot better. Maybe I'm being harsh because of how much I expect out of Bowen. I'm expecting the same from him. No, I just think they're two different players, but you have every right to expect that kind of caliber of Kudus because he's Mohamed Kudus. Like, I think you're being fair, to be fair. I think your criticism isn't fair. You had chances, Lopetegui coached the first half lead. It sounds like waffle. But we should have finished our chances, but Lopetegui doesn't coach. We look like a different team every week. That's my problem. But it is what it is. We have a small club mentality under David Sullivan, a midget idiot. Yeah. We've had the same mentality since he's been here. Since he's been here, especially since the London Stadium era. The problem with all of this is that people will accept draws against Bournemouth and Brighton, and people were accepting a 4-1 loss to Tottenham and a 3-0 loss to Chelsea because it's all part of the process and because they genuinely probably touch children. But that's the kind of people we're dealing with online. That's why there's no point talking to these people online, if I'm being 100% real with you. Because I feel like if their best friend shagged their woman, they probably clap them. They probably clap them doing it. These are the kind of people we have to deal with that were telling me, to trust the process and all this nonsense. I'm just saying these are the same people. I'm getting the same kind of characteristics. Once you talk to people, you can kind of see what kind of person they are. Just a bunch of cuckery. It's kind of the same as last week, really. But we just came up against an opponent that aren't as good as Liverpool. It's kind of mad to say that, but this Man City team isn't anywhere near as good as this Liverpool team at this current moment in time. And Man City still only scored one less than Liverpool did. And people can say what they want about Erling Haaland, but it's still Erling Haaland. You can't give him space. I remember seeing in the comments of Flawless's Q&A yesterday, Haaland hype in 2025 and all this. I'm like, bro, it's West Ham United. It's West Ham United. Haaland always scores against everyone, don't get me wrong, but against West Ham United, he loves a goal. A shout out to English Yardy. Lopetegui won't be sacked. The circus is real. Defensively, we are poor mates. It's the same shit. Facts. And to be honest, we haven't looked like it's kind of like I said this in the first 5 games of the season. What is his identity? But also, what are you trying to be as a manager? Because I watched him at Wolves, don't get me wrong. I don't know what he was trying to do at Wolves either. But when you're watching it with your own 2 eyes at your own club, it's a bit different because you're studying it more. You're analysing it a lot more because it's your club. And I only watched a couple games at Sevilla. I don't know whether he's a manager that actually tries to be good on the attack or hard to be in the defence because we're neither. Don't get me wrong, that is also down to the players as well. The only clinical attacker we have is Jared Bowen. And we see with Fulcrook, once you give the ball to him, he actually does well. Guess what? When you give service to your attacker, maybe they might give you something. But at the same time, doesn't mean we still don't need a striker because we still need a striker. However, Bowen's our only clinical attacker, yes, but it's not like every game we set up to create those amount of chances. This game and the other Manchester City game is the two anomalies where we've actually created chances and we haven't finished them. The only time we were actually clinical was against Newcastle, as Lewis said earlier in the chat. That's the anomaly. In every other game, we don't even create in the first place. It's just a Bowen moment of magic, Souček headers, or maybe some lucky goal that we may get because the other team are very shite in defence. Excuse me. Those are the differences between all of the games that we come up against. So every game, every week looks different because of that. So, for example, the reason why I had hope was because of the reverse fixture, the Manchester City game. We created chances, we played possession-based football, and Lopetegui got the lineup spot on. We just needed to finish our chances, and I gave him a bye. We looked the exact opposite against Fulham, sorry. We played Fulham straight after international break. And the excuse was, okay, straight after international break, everyone's coming off different, even though everyone comes off the same international break, by the way. Stop using excuses. Injuries are not an excuse. Everyone gets injuries. International breaks are not an excuse. Everyone has the same international break. Every single club has internationals traveling from Asia, South America, Africa, and other teams in Europe, other clubs and countries in Europe, whatever. So we looked at a Fulham game and he set up the exact opposite, where instead of trying to play through the team, he tries to play the ball in the air all the time. All the time. Antonio and Souček as the second striker, and Rodriguez and Alvarez in midfield, and then Kudus on the left. So that is so disproportionate. And then you have Mavrobozo in defence. And then we went to sleep for the goal. Kilman should do better against Raul Jimenez. And then we're scraping for a Danny Ings equaliser against Fulham. That's when I first saw the red flags. Then, I first saw the red flags against Villa and Palace, but I gave it a bye. But then we had the Chelsea game. And he set up in a different way again. We kept passing the ball sideways on the ball. No one ran in behind. There was no movement. And then when there was movement, Paquetá would force a pass and we get hit on the turnover against Chelsea. When Chelsea were in possession, they got the early first goal. So all they had to do was slow the game down. And then they had the extra man in midfield because Cuckery was playing inverted. And for some reason, we went man-to-man. That's the last thing you should be doing. And we allowed Wan-Bissaka to go man-to-man with Cuckery. And then you saw what happened. We got ripped apart. We got absolutely anal and diddied. And Rodriguez and Alvarez were marking Souček, were marking Palmer and Jackson. Our two most immobile players were marking their two most mobile players. And that's when I saw this manager was not good enough. That's when I knew this manager wasn't good enough. But guess what? 5 games is apparently too early to see these things, though. So why can I see it 5 games in? But we're now 20 games in, I think. 19 or 20 games because we played everyone twice. 20 games in, played everyone once, sorry. This is the first time I played someone twice. And we're still here. So the first fifth, let's say, I called it. Now, 4/5 later, we're so fucked. In terms of we're severely underachieving. I've never seen you in a laugh in a month I've been watching. To be fair, I only laugh when I'm talking about other clubs, to be fair. When I'm talking about West Ham, bruv, it's just pure pain and miserable. Pure pain and misery. Against West Ham, it's always feeding time for Haaland. He gets a buffet out of us. Think about it as well. Haaland scored his first hat-trick this season against us. He scored his 50th goal against us, scored his first goal against us, scores hat-tricks against us constantly, got back to scoring form again today. Sums us up. Wolves low, fleeced us with the Kilman signing. What a shit show he has been. To be honest, I disagree. I think he was very shit today, don't get me wrong. And I don't think he's been perfect in every game. However, I've seen enough from him where I feel like under proper defensive structure with Todibo, Kilman, Emerson and Wan-Bissaka, we could do a lot better with those individuals. I generally think Lopetegui, even though Lopetegui, that was his signing, I feel like he should get way more out of him. Like, Kilman should do a lot better for the first Haaland goal. Him and Areola should do a lot better. They should communicate a lot better than that. Areola should call for it. And listen, it's Kilman's man. He should be looking properly, scanning properly. I don't get his basics. It was nearly as bad as the Dragusin Isak goal I saw today for Newcastle against Tottenham. To be honest with you, I've seen a lot of good performances from Kilman, but I'm not saying he's been perfect either. He has made mistakes, but to be honest, he's the least of my problems. I'll be real with you. As much as we look bad in defense, it's less so of the individuals for me and more so how we're structured. Again, And like again today, I know we pressed individually at times, but the amount of times I've talked about with you guys, we sit high up the pitch, but we don't press. So we leave a lot of space behind. So all you have to do is either put a ball over the top against West Ham or go 1v1 on the wings. And that's what happens with Vladimir Sufel. Uh, all the people that I would expect to start for West Ham in defence are the least of my problems. I'll be real. So Wan-Bissaka, Kilman, Tadibo, and Emerson. Man said 16 out of 10 clip run it. Lovely picture, by the way. I forgot to put it on my StreamYard. I'm going to put it on my StreamYard straight after this. Straight after this. I should have put it earlier because, but yeah. I was Lopetegui out when we lost to Nottingham Forest. Fair. Yeah, I was Lopetegui out after Chelsea and I got called mad. And when I tried to express that again after Tottenham, people were like, "Oh, we are losing to the teams we are meant to lose to." But guess what? Tottenham are around us. So were we really meant to lose to Tottenham based on people's logic? Based on people's logic, were we really meant to lose? By the way, if you have the mentality of saying we are meant to lose against any team, you shouldn't be watching football. You shouldn't be watching the Premier League. You shouldn't be wishing for your club to do more if your mentality is exactly like, we are meant to lose. We are not meant to lose any game. I'm not saying we're the best in the world, but you don't accept losses. The mentality comes from the top. Lopetegui started Sufal today knowing that Savinho was on that side. That's why he's a trash coach. And it's funny because I don't like Mavropanos, but I would have started Mavropanos right back over Sufal if you don't have any other options. Because people can talk about Cresswell, but Cresswell against Foden, nah. Don't get me wrong, it would have been. Cresswell's probably better than Sufal right now. To be honest with you, I think he's always been better than Sufal. To be honest, and I don't even rate Cresswell. By the way, can I just say the people that said that Cresswell should get a year contract, where are you now? Because what was the point of giving Cresswell a year contract if he's just going to sit on the bench all the time as a 35-year-old? What, just to fill in the gaps of being an English player as a squad player at left back? I get we had a lot of positions to address in the summer, but that was fucking so stupid because Lopetegui wanted him to sign a year extension. That's why he signed a year extension. What about Scars, the left back kid? He was on the bench, but he's never going to get a chance against City. To be honest, I wouldn't have thrown him to the wolves necessarily. No pun intended. I'd play him against Villa in the cup just to give him a run in because we're going to lose the game anyway. To be completely honest with you, but that's just me. People saying that Emerson. People are saying that Emerson's shit. That baffled me. It's because people don't watch football. Emerson's been fine. Emerson's been the least of anyone's problems, to be honest with you. Emerson's actually just been a constant 7 out of 10 for most of the games. Hasn't really made any errors. The only game I could really say he was bad in was against Nottingham Forest, maybe. And then again, he made a few blocks. So I couldn't even really say he's bad in that game. He was good against Palace. He was good against Villa. He's been good in most games. As I said, the individuals in defence are not the ones I'm worried about. The ones I'm worried about is the ones I'm worried about doesn't play, and my defensive problems like that I have with West Ham United is the structure. It's the structure for me. It's the structure. So there you go. Like this is kind of the problem with West Ham United, though. We're gonna go. What I've been saying for this past couple of weeks, pretty much since November, actually, about the ongoing cycle at West Ham, where we are fucked anyway. But it's kind of come to the point where what is the point of having a point? There is no point. But listen, we go again on Friday. Where West Ham playing an FA Cup against Aston Villa. We get a break from the Premier League. But what does that really mean? Because we have nothing to look forward to in the FA Cup either. We have nothing to look forward to. Nothing. By the way, I don't even remember who we beat in the Carabao Cup to even get to Liverpool in the first place. Oh yeah, Bournemouth. Lopetegui doesn't beat Unai Emery. West Ham haven't beaten Emery since Villa have hired him. So what's the point? What do you think we should do on Friday versus Aston Villa? It's our last chance at a tournament format when you qualify for Europa group stages. Obviously, I would love to go for the FA Cup. The FA Cup, I've been demanding an FA Cup from every manager at this club since we moved to the London Stadium, and people think I'm mad, but what's the point of not going for the cup? Why would you rest players? But I think we should. Well, I think we should sack the manager because I'll be real with you, bro. It kind of doesn't matter what lineup we put out. It kind of doesn't matter what lineup you put out because Lopetegui's managing them. So even with lineups that I've seen this season where I thought, okay, that's a proper lineup. You've gone with the lineup that I've wanted you to go for. We still set up structurally wrong, and he's not a good motivator. We look bad in every second half. We look worse every game. So every first half that we've ever started, well, we look worse in the second half. Every first half where we've been shit, we still look worse in the second half. In fact, if you remember the Chelsea game, they scored right at the start. If you remember the Arsenal game, we did fuck all. If you remember the Liverpool game, we did fuck all. The Villa game, we did a bounce back. Palace is the only game, and Palace and Man United are the only games where we can say we look better in the second half than we did in the first half because the first halves were that bad. Newcastle, we kept the same level. We don't really look better in the second half than we do in the first. Defenses win you things. Yeah, facts. Like, we actually have a good back four. It's just our manager sets up wrong. I think we should lock the Villa players in their changing rooms prior to the match, forfeit, and the Hammers go hammering on. I think even if you look the Villa players in and we played the match ourselves, I think we'd struggle to score under this manager. And partly of that is also on the players as well, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, man, it's not like we set up to create chances every game, you know. But that's just my opinion. This is the thing. Ongoing cycle. Where do we go from here? We don't go anywhere. We're just gonna sit where we are. Where we are right now is where we will finish. And that's the truth. Where are we right now, actually? Let me look at it real quick. Where are we right now? I'm gonna assume we're still 13th or some shit. We are 13th. So we're 1 point behind Tottenham. Tottenham have gone down to 12th after Brentford win. We are 1 point ahead of Man United, which we probably still will be by tomorrow. Because even if they draw, if they draw, they go above us. And luckily, Palace only drew today because otherwise they could have leveled on points with us as well and overtaken us by there. So we're probably going to stay where we are right now. Because where you are right now around the Christmas period is kind of where you can judge where your season is at. We will stay here. We are going to stay here. That's the problem. I don't accept 13th place. I didn't even accept 9th place from last year because the 9th felt like a 15th place last year because everyone else around us that was also battling for Europe was also fucking dreadful. Dreadful. So the 9th place wasn't really a 9th place for me. And it wasn't a battle for Europe. We never actually looked like getting Europe. So here's the thing. We are fucked. For the time being, we have been. And we've learned nothing new from this game that we did from the previous matches. We have learned nothing new. Absolutely nothing. We've learned fuck all. That's why you haven't seen a What We Learned video from me for about 2 months now. We've learned nothing. We never will under this manager. Okay, Charlie. No. Hell no. Don't piss me off, please. I hear you, Lopetegui is dire. I have no clue what system he plays. He just plays, I don't know, P. Diddy autism system. That's what I call it, the P. Diddy autism system. Like that's the only way I can say it. The spectrum system, the fucking syndrome system, the fucking jail cell system, the Rico case system. That's the only way I can describe it. I feel like I'm being imprisoned watching it. We would literally be better if the players were managing rather than the actual manager himself. I can think of about 100 people, but I can think about 10,000. If you gave me time, I could probably give you 10,000 at least more options than Lopetegui. Man said, give me Bilic, even worse. Jesus Christ. Not even worse than Lopetegui, but you know what I mean. Manager is doing up Diddy Ball. It is Diddy Ball. It's the Jeffrey Epstein system. Mr. Magoo lost the fact that we are in between Spurs and Man United. Lopetegui isn't going anywhere. Exactly. It is quite literally the Jeffrey Epstein system. We are getting touched everywhere. We are victimized. We are victims of the Premier League. We are the victims of London. We are the Laurie Harvey of London. Just opening our legs and getting fucking shagged. Willingly. as well. We are the ones opening our. No one's forcing us to do this. We are the ones like go on in, like Skepta Adlib, go on in, go on in. Legitimately, we are quite literally fucked, and we are getting fucked every week. And that's why I say the cuckery continues, because we are watching our team getting fucked. That's why I use the analogy of watching the love of your life getting fucked by everyone in your town, in your local town. We are now the local BMX bike of the Premier League. It's getting ridiculous. But people will be like, this is what you wanted. No, this is not what I wanted. I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for this. I didn't even want him in the first place. But I got behind the fact of the idea just because of the director of football. But I tried to tell people that it was the owner that got this guy and not the director of football. But then I fell for it as well. And that's my fault. But we are quite literally criminals. We are quite literally criminals. This is ridiculous, man. This is ridiculous. Yeah, the Spectrum system, bro. I'm telling you. I want Zola at the wheel. Man said Zola, you know. No, I don't love West Ham. Fair enough, man. I said Joe Franco, player manager, will be better. I can't lie. Like, this is the thing. I remember even when Zola was here, apparently Scott Parker and Mark Noble genuinely tried to get him out of retirement because they thought he could still play. You funny, bro. I appreciate you, bro. Man said Decanio, you know. If we was to guarantee to stay up and we was going to be shit, Decanio would be hilarious to watch as a neutral. If I wasn't a West Ham fan, I would be like, West Ham should hire Decanio because that would be hilarious. Imagine his press conferences and him on a touchline as a manager. That would be fucking brilliant. That would be box office. But unfortunately, I support this club. Unfortunately, it's me that supports this club. I have to watch this as a fan. I have to hope for better. Brother said Bielsa. Oh my god, what? This is an impression of Bielsa, yeah? Hold on. You guys can see me, right? Imagine, yeah? You're watching the touchline, and this is what your manager's doing. Your manager's just saying like this throughout the whole time. That whole time, that's all he's sitting like. Imagine he's just doing that, and then your players are just running around in spaces, and you're conceding 6-0 a game. All Bielsa does is just like... In fact, let me make this an even better Bielsa impression. Let me get my fucking glasses. This is Bielsa, fam. That's all he does. That's all he does. Just players running around and him doing this. I think Bielsa would make me commit suicide. Dreadful, dreadful manager. Completely one-dimensional the other way. It's like he's the opposite of what I hate in terms of the fact that I don't like somebody who's too far the other way in terms of too open football, literally just backdoor body blue, whatever the other woman's name is, football. And then we've got this football where it's just virgin football. Keep it tight and there's nothing bright. That is West Ham United. But anyway, we've got another stream in 12 minutes with Melon and Alfie people. And yeah, join us for that. And we're going to discuss Chelsea and Arsenal as well as West Ham United a little bit as well, even though we discussed West Ham United for most of this. And yeah, I'm going to prepare for that stream. I'll see you guys there. Just take care and peace. Join us in 12 minutes.